God here. So I was all set to destroy the world when I thought, hey, I'm not that kind of God. If just one soul could show me it's worth saving, I'd spare it. And being a sporting deity, I let the devil choose. So folks, meet your last chance for salvation.
Wow. This is good beer.
Oh, boy. Well, folks, I wouldn't make any long-term plans.
I've been kicking around in the back of my head for a long time. I'm a former seminarian, and I spent a lot of time, on my knees reading the Bible, and I would get something out of my time.
I've got to tell you, more and more these days.
What? Good, tell me.
Sometimes I think about chucking the whole thing and starting over.
I can't tell you how glad I am to hear you say that. I know it was hard, but I think it's the first step.
I thought of God as wanting to get rid of all the stuff on the earth and start over again. So I thought I'd pitch it by saying he was bored with current and wanted to get back into development, which they responded to when I gave them that idea and sort of took off from there.
If just one soul could show me that they're worth saving.
How can you do this? You know I have trust issues.
I'll tell you what, just to be fair, you choose anyone in the whole world.
Really? Okay. That guy.
Bob Allman? Not my best work.
In the beginning, it's almost like a wager that they make about whether the world is worth saving or not, and Bob becomes their chessboard to play the game on.
Now, here's the deal. I'm very disappointed in the world. I'm thinking of destroying the whole thing, but I'd really rather not. Now, you show me that the world's worth saving, and I'll spare it.
Uh-huh. Well, I got that part, but what's in it for me?
Thinking about the story of Job, just other influences like Damn Yankees, The Devil and Damn Yankees, and Oh God with George Burns and stuff. And I'd always thought that would be kind of fun to play with.
Don't worry, you're the only one who can see me.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Guard.
Darn it, I always have trouble with kids.
And the other inspiration for it was the old Warner Brothers cartoon with the sheepdog and the wolf, and how they're like sort of friendly when they go and before they clock in. Then when they clock in, they're after each other. It's in the pilot how God and the devil are at an auto show in Detroit just checking out the new cars, and they just sort of hang together. But I think they are still adversaries.
There you are.
Hey, God.
I'd just about given up on you.
When have I ever let you down? Recently. Can we just look at the cars?
After the first episode, when Bob saves the world, then he became sort of God's go-to guy. Whenever God had an idea or a whim or something that he wanted done on Earth, he would just go to Bob, and Bob didn't want to do it. I mean, he was a very, very reluctant emissary.
What do you want from me, God? I had it! I really had it! You're supposed to be a benevolent God? Let's look at the record! You're vague. You're unknowable. You're unreliable. You let good people suffer and lousy people prosper. You call yourself a father? You're more like a deadbeat dad.
I was completely nuts for the show. I thought, this is going to work. If you look at the show, you'd be hard-pressed to say it's more subversive than Joan of Arcadia.
Bob, it's me, God. Bob? Oh, I hate these things. Bob, pick up. Bob, don't screen your maker.
This was one of the rare projects that didn't begin with an animator.
I had just come off a miserable experience with a live-action show, and I thought, wow, how about animation? Like, if you have any trouble, you can just erase the character.
I'm sorry, I just had a flat tire, and I was wondering if you...
Give it up. You're too late.
It's not fair. It's not fair! It's never an even playing field. I always get the short end. Just for once, I'd like to...
Go to hell.
King of the Hill had just taken off, which made the idea profitable to networks and studios.
When we pitched it around originally, we were asked, could you do this live action? And we explained why not.
Going to hell and going to heaven, I would have never done that as a sitcom. Animation gave that freedom to do it.
I think you may have gotten the wrong impression of me the other day, and I wanted another chance to chat. Here we are. See, this whole good and evil thing is really a big misunderstanding. A long, long time ago, we were both so young, I said some things. They got taken out of context. 5,000 years later, I'm the bad guy.
We wrote the pilot script and did some drawings to say, all right, this is what it's going to look like.
As a lapsed Catholic, there's always something in the back of your psyche about it. We're just playing around with it. I don't think there's serious concepts of heaven or hell.
You're so, I don't know, inscrutable.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
So, I guess this is it. Don't be a stranger.
I'm not really done with you yet, Bob.
The way we set it up with layout and design in this country and then the animation and color overseas, we were able to stay on top of the whole system, and things are happening. Once episodes are up and running, different things are happening at different points on all 13 episodes.
Just getting the look of the animation down and then getting all of it done in a timely fashion. I mean, it takes a long time to do animation, and there's a lot of people involved in the process. Everybody has a different idea of what God looks like. Tom Werner knew it when he saw it, and finally when we sort of added the shades onto this character that some people think looked like Jerry Garcia, I think he looked like my dad. That became the concept of God. The devil went through a lot of different evolutions as well. We had that idea that he was sort of this cool hipster kind of guy.
Ever since you chose him, he has no fear of me. I mean, I'm the Prince of Darkness, for God's sake. Who's darker than me?
No one.
Really?
Absolutely. You're evil, you're vile, you're hateful.
Am I? Sorry I snapped. I just need to hear it sometimes.
Bob was the easiest one to do, I think.
Guess who had a great day? Guess whose life has changed?
Bob, you really don't want to sing to me right now.
Won't take no for an answer, not from my best girl.
Animation fans love the fact that we were doing things other people weren't. We put in photographic elements, which is now used in a lot of animation. We had characters with 5 fingers. We had more complex walk styles and subtler gestures. What we didn't want were those big cartoon gestures. We wanted someone to be able to react with just a raised eyebrow.
Oh, Donna.
Yeah, Bob.
Just an FYI, I'm wearing that thong you bought me.
You've got those on backwards.
I know that.
My wife is from Detroit, so I'd always wanted to set a show there and sort of do the auto industry. I thought that was a fun place. For animation, if you did a sitcom about it, you just show one section of it. There's one episode where I think is in the first 3, God's Favorite, where you show him going through the entire plant. He almost gets killed by the riveting and all the pouring of the metal and just stuff you can do with animation that you couldn't do on a live show.
I'm gonna die! Oh, no! No!
Well, that was a lucky break. Wait a minute. Luck's got nothing to do with it. God has made me indestructible. You know what this means. Now I can go to the zoo and tease the bears.
On this particular show, we created our own animation operation. The US-based artists who are doing layout and design work very closely with the writers. Frequently, those are very separate camps. By having them together, there was a real sense of one team doing this.
It will be glorious, Nick. I will scale the walls of paradise and raise it to its foundations. The cosmos will crack and tremble with the awful din of Armageddon. I will rise triumphant. And then he'll everything will.
Why won't he call? I know. It hurts.
We made a conscious decision going in that we weren't going to simply go with animation voices. We had a few of them, they were great. Nancy Cartwright and Kat Soucie. But most of our people were actors.
Right away, we knew we had to have somebody who was an absolute icon that people would respect and feel warm towards, and James Garner was just the top choice.
Hey, Bob, I've got an assignment for you.
Now? Oh, come on, that's Jasmine's intro.
If you want, Bob, I'll take you to her house at the end of the night. You can watch Jasmine cry in the shower as she tries to wash away the shame.
Jim Garner is the most consummate professional I had ever worked with, and he had a way of, not just as God, but as Jim, of creating a mood for, all right, everybody, come in prepared, let's do your stuff, let's make it work, let's make this a great show.
Hello, everybody. Arthur here. Thought this might lift your spirits. We are the men of Associated Motors.
The Devil, we had a lot of different ideas. Originally, it was Robert Downey Jr. Then we were looking to get Alan Cumming.
Only you know what you really want. No one, but no one can tell you what's right for Bob. Not Donna, not even God.
You do all the recording first before you do the drawing. So we were able to bring in Alan, and Alan, I think a week it took him to record the first 6 episodes.
Hello, Detroit. We're talking about what's wrong with America. The breakdown of our moral standards. The lack of respect for authority which is causing anarchy in our schools.
Finally, someone who thinks the same way I do.
Are you as angry as I am?
Oh, you bet I am, buddy.
Then pull over right now and call 666-666. There could be a phone at a convenience store you're driving near. Possibly on your right.
No.
Possibly behind the ice machine.
Bingo. This guy's good.
I had done a show with French before Third Rock. He'd been like sort of a continuing character in one of my shows and loved him and always wanted to work with him again.
Hi, boys. Nice to see you. I hope you've all been good. Blessed are the kids from Andy's school, for they shall see me in all my glory. Hey! Turn those lights out.
He was fantastic because people had known his cartoonish character on Third Rock. You know, French would say often that he's playing a more real character in the cartoon because he did go through a lot of, you know, really strong emotions in playing the character.
Come to my work. Break a few windshields. Come to my home. Cheat at Chutes and Ladders. But why did you have to screw with my softball team?
Shows driven by character are always more intriguing and interesting. The exploration is always greater. There are more and more layers of the onion to peel to find out who these guys are and to allow writers to reach more deeply for comedy.
You know, girls mature at different ages, and there's no right age. There's a whole range from
10.
From 10 all the way to
16.
16. Okay.
That's strongly in the tradition of Carsey Werner, of realistic families that are dysfunctional, that have, you know, problems that people can relate.
Bob and Donna are determined to raise good kids in difficult circumstances. It also speaks to a certain working class reality.
He's gonna bring up her old boyfriend, Steve Settlemeyer.
I should have married Steve Settlemeyer. He used to write me poetry.
Steve Settlemeyer was gay.
Steve Settlemeyer was gay!
He storms away. He's in the truck. Donut, donut, donut. Yes.
Okay, bedtime.
Megan was a little extreme, but I mean, I think I've known many young family members like that.
Honey, I'm sorry your first date was such a disappointment. You deserve better.
Thanks, Mom.
You know, when you get older and more experienced, you'll learn to recognize the signals, and then you can dump them first.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You can make them cry.
I'd like that.
The one absolutely pure character in the series was Andy.
Can we play catch, Dad?
I'm sorry, son. I have to do some reading. But thanks to the hard work we're doing, someday you'll be able to play catch with your son.
Okay.
Could you get the lights?
There's an episode, in fact, that the wisdom of children comes through. And we realize that Bob does learn from his son, and it's a big moment for Bob.
I thought you liked Barney.
When's the last time you saw me watching Barney?
Well, I don't know. I can't keep track of I mean, I've been busy, and Oh, man. The answer's been right here all the time. If I'd only known that, I could have kept the $50,000.
What's that, Dad?
Nothing, Andy. Come here.
Dad, I don't want to play catch with my kid. I want to play catch with you.
You got it, buddy.
When you reach the end of the episode, there's a certain validation of core American values. There's a certain reaffirmation of family.
I know you want us to bond, honey, but we're bonded. Megan, you love us, don't you?
I don't hate you.
And we don't hate you. See, honey?
Bob's father, I thought, was interesting because he gets upset at God because when his father dies, his father goes to heaven, and his father was a really bad guy.
Okay, picture this long line of fathers and sons stretching from Adam all the way down to Andy. And they're all passing down this punch from one generation to the next, father to son. And the trick is to pass on a softer punch. Your father passed on a softer punch.
He's very unforgiving of his father, and he sort of learns what the rules are about forgiveness from God.
I miss Gretzky, you know? I wish I'd gone to more of his games. You don't appreciate someone like that until they're out of the game. One time, on his way off the ice, he skated right by me, and he looked up, and our eyes met, and I didn't say anything. I wish I had told him how much he meant to me. And now I will never be able to.
I think he knows.
The Devil's Birthday is just a lot of fun.
Ta-da!
Happy birthday.
Who's Helen?
From accounting? Hers is actually Sunday, but since we were celebrating yours anyway...
This is so great, guys. Thank you all.
Get her out of here.
Gee, sir, it's her party too.
Get her out of here!
Sorry, Helen.
Oh, sweetie, that's all right. The cake was delicious.
God every year forgets his birthday, and it has to do with him being God's favorite angel.
He forgets every year.
Oh, I do not.
Yes, you do. Every year. Ever since...
Since when? Come on, get it out.
Since he threw me out of heaven.
That has nothing to do with it.
Boy, it sure feels like it does.
You really don't want to piss me off, Bob.
And there's a lot of psychological baggage that they're both carrying for it, and Bob becomes sort of the facilitator between the two to get to resolve their problems.
Happy birthday, Lucifer.
Thanks.
Boy, I feel like a weight's been lifted.
I do too, I really do.
Yeah, I think we all do.
How did you get so good at this, Bob?
Court-ordered therapy on an open container violation. Well, I think we've learned a lot today.
His problem is he doesn't trust people to make their own programming decisions. You know, in my travels, I've met the American people, and I gotta tell you, I'm pretty impressed with them.
We were living in a fool's paradise, and we just thought everything was fine. I mean, we thought there'd be some controversy. We thought it might help us to have a little controversy. We didn't think it was going to completely shut us down.
Make it stop!
The horror! The horror!
We didn't go through and check off a list or anything like that. I mean, a lot of those ideas were in the air, obviously, when you deal with religion and morality.
Oh, Donna, you don't understand what you've done.
Oh, I understand. In exactly 1 minute and 10 seconds, we're not going to have to deny ourselves anything anymore. Nothing! We're going to be filthy, stinking rich!
Excuse me, could you please sit down?
I'll take care of you later.
It was meant to be gently satirical, or, you know, something sometimes not so gentle, but I mean, never really sacrilegious. We weren't trying to, you know, shove it in anybody's face. We were trying to have fun and challenge an audience, but not devastate people.
Well, what about purgatory?
We made that up.
Sometimes you'd get into these kind of silly arguments that one does with standards, like, well, Bob can't have an open can of beer while he's driving. So we'd have this long discussion about why Bob has lost his moral compass and why he needs to be drinking there, because it's his way of saying, I care about nothing.
That's right. In the carpool lane. Just one guy. No turn between 4 and 6? Well, it's 5:55. Live with it!
The point of view I always took to discussions with the standards people, that nothing that's in there is cheap or gratuitous. In that case, it was part of Bob's descent or the devil's seduction. So everything had a reason for being that had to do with story.
What brings you to Hollywood?
I'm here to clean up sex on television.
Oh, thank God. If you only knew the stuff I have to say, the stuff I have to do. So, do you have a plan?
Oh, I have a plan. The wheels are in motion.
We tried not to do much pre-censorship and live in that world where, they'll never let us do that. It was, if the writers strongly believed this was the way to go after something, let's put it in the script, let's have the discussion.
Believe it's populo, not popule.
Shut your fat cake-hole!
None's kicking none ass. It doesn't get any better than this.
Some of your best work, sir. You're really firing on all cylinders.
Yes, I am. Really am. So why do I feel so empty?
We had done our first 13, and then it just affected the show, staying on the air. It was very upsetting, infuriating, because most of them had not even seen the show. They were blindly condemning the show and had misconceptions about how we were portraying God.
Well, I figured you, of all people, had better judgment.
Why? I created you in my image and likeness. Everything you have in you, I have in me. I guess I can even lie to myself if I want something enough. Forgive me.
No.
Excuse me?
Where am I supposed to go from here? Who's better than you?
Well, that's true.
We never really, therefore, had the opportunity to say, whoa, 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 listen to this God, watch this God, and then give me a yell. You tell me what it is you're disagreeing with there.
I thought we did a good job of walking a line of being respectful, but at the same time making it funny and having some fun with the character. They just didn't see it.
You forced them to actually spend time with their families.
Daddy, will you read to me?
Sure.
Oh, wait, there's more.
I love you, son.
I love you, Dad.
My bare ass did all that.
Yes, Bob, I'm proud of it.
I'm sorry about what I said before. Maybe you didn't do such bad work with me after all.
Let's face it, we both dodged a bullet on this one.
It's not just a traditional, family sitcom. It's also animated. It can go to heaven and hell. It's got a lot of challenging concepts in it. So, I think given a chance to find an audience, I think people would really respond to it.
The nature of their reactions and the nature of their growth all existed within those characters.
You know the expression, it's lonely at the top. That's when you're talking about presidents or Streisand. Imagine what it's like for me.
So you get lonely, huh? Well, maybe you know more about being a human than I thought.
It was, at its heart, a character comedy, and we'll never have the opportunity to really explore where these people could have gone.
Look within. Where am I? Who am I? What is life about?
In here, Bob. We can show you what you're looking for.
Well, this is promising.
Dad? Dad?
What? Oh, Andy, please. I'm trying to look within.
There was a concept that was an interesting concept that was novel. I mean, there were some precedents for it, but it was, I was proud of how it turned out.